Hello, hello, hello again. Uh, Getting into another live stream today. Let me figure out what sort of music I want to listen to. Chip tunes, of course. Let's see. There we go. I like it. Pick a different song though. Okay, let's do this. It started with sharing my screen. Here we are with some VS Code where we left off yesterday. What's this? Am I even using this? No, I don't think we're using that. So where we left off, I was pretty disappointed with a project that I had been working on, and I was going to dog food it, and it just was not good. So let's get going. Let's get going with this. Now, where we are is we have this little app. I've got this project I want to make where I basically define some dimensions for a banner image. These are kind of the banner dimensions for Twitter banner photos, I think. And I want to generate a Pokemon battle scene here that we can kind of like customize and play around with, and then um, eventually that will be like exported to an image. So let's see where we are. Okay, app preview has some things. So this is really interesting. Invalid. Okay. I need to see, I want to try and fix some of these issues that I've been having. So vform should be available, and I should be able to use that here. And I think that's going to complain about something. Handle submit was accessed during render, but is not defined on the instance. Yeah, that makes sense. Handle submit. I want this to be on a valid input. I want to handle this submit. So function handle submit. Well, let's just say const handle submit, and that's going to be assigned to console log. That's all. No, actually, sorry. Let's say undo all that. Function handle submit. It's going to take an event, and then we're going to do the event. We're going to call event.prevent default to prevent the default behavior. And then we're going to console log the event. Sure. Do I need to bump this up? That's a little bit big for me. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so if I refresh, do we have any issues with the actual form? In warning from the warning on input components. Listener was accessed. This is listeners on what? The submit or on the form? So I'm going to fix some of these issues, and part of what I'm going to be doing today is actually debugging some of these utensils issues for Vue 3. So I don't know what's going on there. So we're going to go to the source code and just kind of, Okay, yeah, this is right. Didn't recognize my own code there for a second. So let's take this, let's copy this. Is there anything that I'm importing? No. So this should work just on its own. And we're going to say, instead of importing v button here, we're going to import something from /components. Okay, inside of /components, we're going to put an index.js file. Inside of this folder, we're also going to make the vbutton.view file. That's what that is, what we copied over. Okay, cool. That should work just fine. And then this should export default as vbutton. Nope, vbutton from vbutton.view. I think that should work. And then over here, I should be able to import. Come on. I should be able to import vbutton. Great. It all worked as intended. I don't know why it's complaining about that. I'm also going to call this index.js to be explicit. Okay, we're not being explicit there, so I guess we probably should. Okay, so now I've got my local version of the button coming in, and it is going to be complaining because vbutton, if action and data. So that's probably not going to be the case. So by default, we should get a component, which is a tag. The tag is going to check if there's a to, an href. If not, it's going to return a button. So we should have a button there. The type, if the tag is a button, it's going to return the button. And then we don't need to worry about that. That should be it. We've got listeners here. I think that's what it's complaining about. So before I get too far along, let me try commenting out everything else and just having this button on the page so we can see, quiet down some of this noise. And yeah, we're going to say listeners is accessed during render, but is not defined on instance. So here we've got listeners, which is not part of view 3. Well, that's not the right thing. Okay, so I need to see. I need to see how I'm handling this in other places in utensils then. Components. I do a search for listeners. And we're going to see here. Listeners. Okay. This is what I need. And I need to import is view 3 from view demi. Okay, cool. That solves that problem. We're going to do, whoops, computed type listeners. And then in our code, we'll import that from view demi. We're doing a little bit of fixing a third-party library, which is my library, so that I can fix it in production and then update it. So we need to import view demi so that we know if it's view 1 or view 2. npm id view demi, and then npm run dev. That ought to get us sorted. So we shouldn't see that problem, except that we're still referencing listeners. This should now be on listeners. And reload this. Cool. The submit button is fixed. Let's add a custom listener now to say at click is going to be console log, and I think that should work. If I click, no, reload, and try this. Not read, okay, console log is undefined, that makes sense. So let's make this a function that takes the event and console logs the event. Okay, click, no. Console was accessed during render, but not defined on the instance. Oh, that's so annoying. Actually, that still doesn't make sense. Unhandled error during execution of native event handler. Cannot read properties undefined of log. Okay, fine. That's weird, but okay. We're going to call that log. And inside of here, we're going to say const log equals console log. That should definitely work. Reload. Hit that submit. Cool. We've got the pointer events. That is working now. Excellent. Let's undo that. Let's undo that. And we'll undo this comment. Why is this red? Property v button any. I don't know. Well, that's one problem solved. Now we've got some other ones with the prop types for the input. Okay. Prop types for the input. So this is, it's complaining because it's getting a ref. Okay, so I think this might only be a problem. This might not be a real problem because it's expecting string number, Boolean, or array, but it got an object. And it got an object because it got a ref. So let's see here. Yeah, it's kind of cool that my, what is that? TypeScript, or that may be Vue.js runtime. I guess we can check it by going to input and checking the source code on that. And the prop types, there you go. Okay. All right, so it's annoying that that's there, but it also doesn't seem to be an actual issue. Okay, the one that is an issue though is form. So let's check out the source code for this one. I think I should be able to, yep, copy everything. God, I love that I made this thing so easy to work with, because now what I can do is I can go here and do the same thing, make a vform.view, paste in what I have, go here, copy this into vform, go back to my app. Instead of copying that from utensils, I can pull that from, from my local projects. And if I reload now, I should see the same errors, but it should be coming from my local thing. So now this is going to say there's a problem with grabbing, reading properties of undefined, trying to read invalid. So we go to our code and we look for .invalid inside of the form. I see. Listeners, once again, Once again, the problem is with the listeners. So I should have, oh, that's lovely. But I have, if I do search for $listeners, there's only 2 instances of it. And this second one is the one that's causing the issue, I believe. So we'll delete that. We'll reload. We should not see that error anymore, which we don't. Pwata! That feels good. Those are 2 bugs in my published NPM project that should be fixed and will be fixed shortly. Cool. So now that that's fixed, there's a couple of warnings in the console, which are annoying, but not a problem. Both for the 2 inputs and for the width and height that we're passing here. So now this is weird. Like, why am I getting errors for that? Okay, well, next thing's next. One thing that I'm having an issue with is as I change these values, I'm no longer getting that image to re-render onto the canvas. And that's because every time that we change it, we're generating a new canvas. So I actually need to trigger that on update. So let's go to vue.js.org and let's go for updated lifecycle events. Updated next tick, before mount, before unmount. So it should be on updated. That's when I want to run this. So let's close that. Let's close V button. Let's close this thing. Let's go to, actually, let's go back there and I'm gonna paste what I've got in the clipboard, get rid of that, copy this. Let's put that in app preview. Cut that again, hit save, close that, go back here, and then app preview can now come from here. So we don't need this. Can pull that out. All of our components are coming in here. That's nice and handy. And then my app preview. I want this when, not when it mounts, but when it's updated to log or to create that image. So module Vue.js does not provide an export named updated. Okay. So composition, options, composition, lifecycle hooks. Here we go. On mounted, on updated. That's what I want. There we go. Reload this. That's not going to run now because it's not being updated. But if I change that, it does run. Okay, so we need that to run on mounted and on updated. We've got a callback. Register the callback, return void. Okay, so I think that's easy enough to solve. We'll have the function called paint canvas. We're going to say const paint canvas is going to equal the function we just defined. And then here we're going to have on mounted and on updated, we're going to repaint. So now if I reload, we've got our canvas painting. Every time we update the size of the canvas, you see that stretching out. I am repainting it. That's pretty great. One thing I need to do already is I can see, well, it's probably not a huge deal that that's running like super frequently. I might put a little timeout on that. Okay, so I need to do a timeout now. Actually, let's clean this up a bit. At preview, I don't want this to be background of red. I'm going to have this be border 1 pixel solid, and that should be white because, yep, cool. There's my canvas. Awesome, we're getting there. Okay, so now I want to pull this image down to the bottom of the canvas. So this is going to be context, draw the image. So I need to look at this. Draw image. Let's go canvas, draw image. Web APIs. So direction X, direction Y, or distance X, distance Y. What are these? SX, the x-axis coordinate of the top left corner of the sub-rectangle of the source image to draw, okay. SY, S width, S height, DX, the x-axis coordinate in the destination canvas at which to place the top left corner of the source. And I imagine that these cannot be like relative. So I can't do like 90%, right? Okay. Can't do 90%. I wonder if I can, let's see, console log image. So when it loads, I want to see if I can grab the width and height of this image. No. Console log is one thing. Console dir is probably what I want. So now I've got this image object. Bump up this size so everyone can see it. And let's see here. Do we have a width and height? I see the natural width and the natural height. That may be good enough. So let's do that. Let's do the props dot height minus image dot natural height, and then this what was that, width and height? I don't know. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, it's not going to know where I'm supposed to paint it. Draw image on canvas rendering, 3 arguments but only presented 2. So what was that? Was that the offset X and then Y? X and then Y. So my X coordinate should be 0. My Y coordinate should be the height of the canvas minus the height of the image. We got something wrong. We got something wrong. What's going on here? Okay. Let's console log props height and the image natural height, and let's see what we've got here. Okay, so I need the value. Props.height.value. That's kind of annoying. Cool. Okay, check that out. We have our image in the bottom left corner as expected. That's super cool. It feels like it's a bit off, doesn't it? What if I just do image natural height? Oh man, it's so fast I can't even keep up. Let me hit save and look. Oh no, undo and save and look. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's in the right spot. It's the right height, it's in the right spot. That's great. So that in theory is going to be, whoops, when I go to Twitter and I have my little thing in the corner, I should come up right around there. So happy with that so far. That may need to be a little bit bigger, but we'll see. That's actually a really good point. I now am going to put a little div there so that we can preview the avatar image. So let's see. I want, what is this? Is this the image? Box shadow, height, width. Well, I just need the size of it. 133.5 by 133.5. So let's do I've got my canvas. And then right after my canvas, I'm going to put my .avatar. And that I want to do, I don't know. Let's see. .avatar is going to be width of 140 pixels. Same with the height. It needs to be like, let's see, border 2 pixel solid black. And then we're going to say border radius 50% is fine, but I'm going to do 1E9 pixels. And this is a really big number. It's scientific notation, 1 to the with 9 zeros behind it. That gets us a nice perfect circle. And that should overlap like right in the middle. So we're going to do, what do I want to do? I can either take it out of the flow of the document by making it position absolute. Let's do this in the DOM actually. So let's go here and let's say you're going to be position absolute, transform, translate y negative 50%. That's pretty much right where I want it. No, it's not quite. I need this to be how far off? Whatever the padding is that this has. Padding 16 pixels. Okay, cool. So I'm going to say position absolute. Position absolute. Well, we'll start with this. Transform, translate, and we're going to do 1 rem and negative 50%. And let's see what our app is looking like right now. Cool, it's in the right spot. I'm going to get a little Ico Moon. I'm going to get a little avatar thing going on. So we're on a roll today. This feels good. Avatar. I mean, I guess this is a pretty basic one. I'm going to try and go for one that's like, yeah, that's pretty good. I think between these two. Oh, never mind. I guess that's an easy decision. So let's go to my selection or generate SVG. Let's see. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. So let's go with this. I'm going to generate some SVG symbols. Those are going to be in my index.html, I think. Okay. Icon user. Whoa, there's a lot of extra white space in there. Okay, so what up, Kotin? Just jumping into first framework in React next week. For noobs like you, would I recommend learning Vue as well, or try to learn more fundamentals of one before trying a new one? I think you should definitely get good at one. And if you can get good at one, yeah, like get to the point where you can build something comfortably and people will pay you to build stuff. I don't think people pay you to learn a bunch of different frameworks. That's my 2 cents. I personally prefer Vue. There's more jobs, I'd say, out there for React. I think that that's probably changing. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. So let me see. React is great, by the way. I do some React stuff at work as well. So I'm going to go to svomg. See if I can paste this markup. Not an SVG. Okay. So if I take this and copy that and I paste that there, it's going to take off a bit. Let's take the precision way down. Copy. Let's see what it gives me back. With my SVG. Okay. ARIA hidden true. Style remains the same. Overflow hidden. Cool. Version I don't need. Strips out a bit of stuff for me. And then it keeps my little definitions. That's awesome. Cool. Yeah, it does keep my definitions. But it keeps my symbols too. That's excellent. Okay. So I don't need this thing. I've got my little SVG library here. The ID that I'm looking for is icon user. So next what I want to do is I'm going to create a new component called app icon.view. And what that is going to be is, let's see, I'm going to copy this in there just so that I have it available. And then I'm going to get my code here and see that this is the code that I want. Don't need that. I need this to be wrapped in a style tag, but otherwise I need a template. It's not going to do it for me. Template. Cool. And then I need a script as well. Script. That's going to give me some props where I can probably just do it this way. Export default. I don't need to do this the new fancy Vue way. Leading framework changing in Vue's favor, do I think, or something else like Svelte. So leading framework, like which direction do I think popular frameworks are going? No one is going to get fired for picking React. I think that there's a lot of excellent contenders. I think once you've learned React and gotten some of the fundamentals around reactivity and like the flow of props and events, and when you understand a little bit about like complexities with routing or state management, a lot of those principles are going to apply across different frameworks. One thing that I like to think about is when you can learn things, like if you want to learn something that's going to last for the rest of your career, learn more of the platform stuff. So the basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that's going to be around for 10, 20 years, you know. These JavaScript frameworks, they're not going to be around that long. That said, it's how you can get a job today. So, you know, take the one that can get you a job as soon as possible, get that experience. You're going to pick up more learning with that experience. And then eventually, once you kind of have it under your belt, then you can start applying some of those things that you've learned to other frameworks that are, you know, popping up or piquing your interest. Always be building stuff. I like to build these side projects because it keeps me sharp on things. Like I've done a lot of Vue. I haven't done a lot of Vue 3. So I'm trying to get sharpen my blade with like the Vue 3 stuff. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But I'd say as much as I'm not such a fan of React, if I were to start today, that's what I would recommend learning. Okay, so next thing I want to do is define some props. Man, this GitHub Copilot thing is really messing me up right now. So I'm going to say there's a prop called icon. It's a type of string, and we're going to say it's required. Required is true. And what my template is going to be now. Okay, so I've got my template. Yeah. And let's see. App icon. That's okay. I'm actually going to rename this to app SVG. So now I've got this SVG, and it can take a number of different values. I think this might work. Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate that. I hope it makes sense. And if I can do anything to help you in your career, let me know. Keep bringing the questions. And yeah, happy to chat. Or like, hit me up on Twitter. Twitter is a great space for it because then other people can chime in on that too and share their thoughts. Okay, so what we're going to do here is this template, we're going to pass in the icon here that we're expecting as this prop. And then the last thing down here is I want to create a style tag where I can add these styles in. That should be my icon. In my components thing, I'm going to copy that and paste it over here as the app SVG. I'm going to export that from there. We're going to go to our app and import it. Why are these little red squigglies? Has no export member. It totally does. I better not see any red squigglies there. Oh, you're annoying. You're so annoying. It totally is exporting. Look at this. It's right there. It's even working in the code. VS Code, killing me, Smalls. What was I doing with my life just now? I got totally distracted. I was doing an icon. I was doing the avatar icon. That's right. So it's going to go in right there. Okay, so my app SVG is going to go. It's not going to come in here, actually. We're going to copy that. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to go to our app preview, import some components. We're going to import the SVG component from the current directory. And then I don't even know what I'm doing with my life. And then with this SVG, we are going to put that right in here and say that that is an SVG. That is expecting, should be telling me, God, I need to get these like IntelliSense stuff for Vue so that it tells me how many props it expects or what props. It should be expecting it should be expecting something. Icon. Oh, I don't want it to be an icon. No. This should be the href. That's what I'm going to call it. That's probably a terrible thing. I guess I could call it the xlink or the href. What do y'all think? Xlink or href for whatever this value is going to be? I think href is going to be simpler to remember. The other thing I want to do here is actually bind my class so that I'm using backticks. And instead of passing the icon user like that, that will be interpreted as the href. So there we go. Then we'll get a little bit of like the optional custom styles in case we need to do something fancy. And let's see if I got this. href is going to be icon user. That was all very complicated just so I can put some SVG on the page and not even do it right. So what have I got here? App preview is logging something. App preview, console error, I don't need you. Okay. I think I need to see how I've done this in other projects. Yeah, Twitter's like, I mean, it's, I don't know how to say this. If you're not big on social media, avoid it because social media is like a terrible place for uh, mental health. But it is really good for networking. Like, it's better than LinkedIn, in my opinion, for the tech industry. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. It's fun. You make friends too. All right, give me a minute. Whoops, didn't want to pull that up. Hopefully there was nothing embarrassing. No, I don't think so. Okay, I need to see one of my old projects. That's not it. Is that it? That's not it. Okay. Maybe not that project. I need to go back there, over here. There we go. Okay, I need to download a file, open it up. Open it up, I said. Thank you. Just one moment longer. There it is. Okay, let's copy that and let's close that. Let's close that over there. So open this. Oh no. Oh no. I copied the wrong thing. Okay, one moment. Hold on. There it is. Okay, you go away. So, oh my gosh, stop. Oh, really? Just, there you, oh, no, please. Okay, so this is the syntax that I need. Got some cool stuff in here. So you're gonna cop. Oh my gosh, I can't not do anything with this thing. Copy, close that. Go to our SVG, and I want to see what I've got here. Oh my gosh. You have to be free. Okay, can I reopen a closed file? No. Jesus. All this just so I can copy and paste. Components, global, CG. Okay, I'm not going to close this until I actually have it this time. Unable to find. Okay, well, I have a better idea. Maybe. I have a better idea. Okay, let's extract. Okay, now it should work. Doot, doot, boop, boop, boop. And okay, cool. I think it's working now. Right, so I'm going to close that. I'm going to come here, paste it over here with height. Yeah, that should be fine. Don't need that. Don't think I need anything else. Source is a string. Source icon fill. Yeah, I think this is all I need here. So we can get rid of all that. We're going to come up here. This is a funny little thing about SVG in Vue is that this binding syntax or the shorthand for vbind doesn't work. So really all I had to do is just use vbind. Awesome. Great. Oh, and I did have something actually. This is good that I copied this. Maybe that's what was broken, is I didn't have the little hash symbol in there. So let's see. What am I doing? I just making this harder on myself. There we go. Okay, let's get back to this. Hopefully that works. I'm passing in the href here, should be my prop. In my preview, I am defining a href as icon user. Ah, there it is. Look at that. Cool. It's working. Excellent. So now this is too small. Width and height of 1em. So if I say I don't expressly say width and height, okay. Do I want my width and height to be 1em and then I just set it with the font size? Or do I want it to just fill automatically? Well, because it's an icon, it should fill automatically. Okay, easy enough. Moving forward, my avatar. I need my font size here. Size. I need to decide what that font size is going to be. Font size of 30 pixels, I suppose. Where is this? My SVG should be width and height. 30 pixels. We're going to say like 100 pixels is good. And then this is going to be display grid, place content center. Cool. Font size 100 pixels. I actually want that to be not in pixels, but in rems. So this 140, I'm going to make 9 rem, because 9 times 16 is a good number. Let's make that 8 rem. Font size is, I need a quick calculator on this computer. Pull up a calculator and say 96 divided by 16 is 6. Okay. So 6 rem. And then this avatar should be display grid, which I think I'm going to start using some utility classes for this. So grid, place center, maybe place center or content center. I don't know. But let's go here. We've got our utility classes. I'm going to do one called grid, display grid. And then we'll do place center is, I'm going to do content. This is so annoying. Place content center. I think this is good. Okay, place center. Let's see what we've got so far. Cool. We've got our little avatar. Yeah, we've got the little border. I'm going to get rid of this border color so that it just inherits. I'm going to say that that's actually going to be, yeah, this is fine. This is going to get another, utility class called radius full. So we can take this out. And then in my CSS, we're going to go somewhere above margin, below sizes. No, below margin, above padding. We're going to go radius full. Okay. And then what have we got? We've got our app. It's looking pretty good. We've got our little icon. It needs like a background. So I think I'm just going to do a gray background. I know what color I'm going to do. We're going to do background color button face. All right, there's our little avatar. We can see the Pokemon, like the what would you call that? The land right below. I think I want to make that a bit larger so that we're going to be able to see it better. But before we end this stream today, since I only have a few more minutes, I'm going to get into the other sprite that I want to put over there. So let's see. My assets, right? My images, or is it the public image? It's a public image. So images here, I can get rid of this one. Delete permanently. Delete this asset. Cool. Yes. And that's because we need to access the public folder, which is what Vite. Okay. Before I take too much for granted of what's going on here, let's take a step back and see what's actually going on. Is in my application. Yeah. Once I kind of know what's working, the progress goes a little bit more quickly. So what happened today was, or what's going on in this application is we have sort of two sections of this app. We have a settings section that we're eventually going to build out and make it more functional. And then we have the preview section over here. And I believe if I like change this, yeah, so it's going to change, and eventually that will generate the image that we want. And this works pretty well. And what we're doing is we're generating a canvas element. So what a canvas does is it's really kind of only designed to be used to generate graphics with JavaScript. It's pretty pointless on its own without JavaScript. So what we're doing is as we generate this canvas, or as we place this canvas onto the page, we're giving it a width and height proportionate to the props that we're getting from these two settings. So that determines the width and height. And when the canvas mounts onto the page, with view, we're creating a reference to the actual element here. And then on the mounted and updated lifecycle events, so when the app or when the component mounts the first time, or any time that we change what the props values are that it's receiving, it's going to run this function called paint canvas. And what canvas is going to do is get the context of the referenced DOM node. So it's going to grab the 2D context of the canvas element. It's going to create a new image. That new image source is going to be /img/sandforeground.png currently. And the reason why, or where this image is coming from, is when you use Vite, a couple things are happening. It will eventually be used to generate your project for you, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But in the dev server, or when you're doing development mode, it also is running a server for you that's running at localhost 3000, right? And for images to be servable, they have to be served from a server. So the project structure that Vite allows, or like the format that you can follow that they decided upon, is you can put your development source code into this source folder, but any code or any assets that you need to make available, like static assets that you want available to, like images or I don't know, CSS if you wanted, needs to go in this public folder. And I like to put inside of the public folder, I like to add even more depth to it to kind of isolate what different assets I have. For example, I have this IMG folder inside of public. That way I can put all of my images in there, and those images will be accessible at my server /img/ I guess whatever, what was it? Foreground sand.jpg, right? I should see it. No, I don't see it. Sand foreground. And it's PNG anyway. So I got that totally wrong. So if I go here, I should see my little PNG. That's great. Okay, let's get this other image up here, which is going to be the sort of battle scene thing. Which we have. Let's see. I'm going to go to edit.photo. I'm going to drag on the image that I want to edit, which I should have. Let's see. Well, you won't see where it is, but maybe I can just paste it. So I want not this one, this one. This is where I got my original. The reason why I'm taking this one is because this one actually already is a PNG. So I can see like those little squares, like they're, I don't know. I guess that's a way to see that they're whatever. Let's see if I can copy this, and hopefully I can just paste it. Load error loading image. Cool. Okay, well, we've got it here. Now I want to zoom, and zoom in and grab my little one that I want. So let's get down there. Let's pull it up here. Pull this over there. Man, can I? No, that's not what I wanted to do. No. All right, well, let's zoom in really far. And let's stretch this out. So that's as big as I want it. That's as far down as I want it. Let's go over and up. That looks pretty good. Cool. Crop shape. That's what I want. That's fine. Let's export that as a PNG. I wonder if I can copy that. And then another hot trick here is if I go to tinypng.com, can I paste it? No. Okay, so if I download this, well, I'm not going to do it, but you can go to tinypng, and that will actually optimize the images for you. There's probably some dev tools that will automate it for you as well. I want to see, can I copy this and just go to VS Code and like just paste it? No, I cannot. So I have to download it regardless. So let's download that. We'll save it as sand background.png. I guess we'll just drop it into tinypng anyway. Whoop. It's going to compress it. See, from 2 kilobytes down to 559 bytes. That's cool. We'll save it as the sand background, overwrite that, and then let's see. I want to go back to my code, show it in the folder. I'm going to copy it there and come over to my code in my images folder and paste it. No, I'm going to drag it over to my images folder. Cool. And then Windows, WSL in Windows just does this annoying thing where it copies over this random thing. Anyway, so we've got our image now. Let's put that onto the page. Let's get our two stations in place. Let's see. Looking at my code, looking at my thing, not this thing. Boop. I feel like I should probably just keep this open. Well, no. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Get rid of that until I need more icons later. Let's go here. So image now, I'm going to call this one foreground. foreground. And then I need another image. So this will be interesting because eventually I'm going to have to paint a lot of these images onto the canvas. And because they're all kind of doing their own loading event, I wonder what the best way to wait on, there's got to be something. Wait on several images to finish downloading. Because essentially I don't want to wait on all of them, or I don't want to wait on all of them individually. I want to wait on all of them collectively. Here's one way you can wait for an image to load. That's not what I want. I want several of them. Okay, load images, image URL, new image, onload, function resolve. Okay, interesting. Okay, there's something here. You can wait for a single image to load. I'll figure that out another time. I don't need to figure that out today. Okay, so let's see. Draw image foreground. So, okay. I've got this. I'm going to copy all this and just say foreground. Say background. Now the background image is going to be slightly different because I don't need to have it in the bottom left. I need to have it kind of in the top right, which means let's just say it's gonna have to be a little bit off of the top. Where do I want it? Let me see. What's a good example? This is not. Let's go Pokemon battle scene. So it should look, yeah, okay. There we go. That's a good example. It should be about 50% of the way so that we can have an image on top. Or this is a better example. Yeah. Gonna wreck that peak. Gonna wreck that squirrel. Okay, let's see. Let's just get it in and phrasing. Ignore that I said that. Hopefully no little kids are watching. Let's just get this done and see how far we can get it. So, right. Let's see. Where was I? Oh, I can't put it back. So we're going to go, let's see. I want to go, what is this? The X direction and the Y direction. So the X direction, I want essentially 100% of the way. So props dot width. Let me do this. Const offset x is going to equal props.width.value minus natural width minus some padding. So let's just say like 16. And offset x is going to be that. Let's go offset y. Const offset y is going to be something similar. So the height, the actual height doesn't really matter here. I think we can just do some I think we can just do some sort of padding. So the background natural height plus like 100, right? I'm going to do the same sort of thing here. So we're going to say offset X is just going to be 0, offset Y is going to be this, and then we'll get rid of that. Oops, keep that. Get rid of that, and we'll do that. Makes it a little bit easier to read what's going on. So offset X, offset Y. Let's hit save. Let's see what we've got. Oh, look at that. I've got my foreground where my little person's going to be. I've got my background offset by some size. I think they maybe need to be a little bit larger, but nonetheless, it's looking quite productive, I'd say. Yeah, let's take that down like 7. No, let's take that down like 50. Oh, look at that. This is going to be, I'm gonna make that 32. I'm gonna make this a 48. Just magic numbers. It really doesn't matter a whole lot because it's just kind of arbitrary spacing. But I do like to use numbers that are multiples of 12. That's it today. That's as far as I'm going to take it. So let's see. Let's go back and look up Pokemon battle scene. Let's go images. I feel like it's pretty close, right? Like, look at that. We'll put an interesting background there too. And yeah. Rem versus Pix. Which is better practice? It depends. I think so. The question depends on what you need it to do. If you want it to always be exactly the same size, use pixels. However, you very rarely want it to be exactly the same size, and the question is really like the same size relative to what, right? So I will usually use pixels for border values, and that's about it. Because what happens is if a user goes to their settings, oops, well, you can see this, I suppose, and says like, let's see, find text size, font size. Here we go. If a user goes to their settings and they have like maybe some visual impairment that they can't see small text, they might want to change their text to a very large size, right? And if you set your sizes to pixel, now you can see, I don't know if you can actually notice, but my browser like font size here is actually much larger than when it was a moment ago. And so far, everything responded kind of the same way, where the padding, my avatar thing, because I'm using rem values, let's see, because I'm using rem values for the width and height, it's sized appropriately. But if I were to set this to 96 pixels, which was the pixel value, it's only going to be the same when the base unit is 16 or the default unit is 16 pixels. So if the user doesn't change their browser settings, then 96 will always be 96. But if the user changes their pixel values, you want to use rem to sort of accommodate that, right? Because if I left this at 96 pixels, suddenly everything is kind of smaller than we had originally designed it. I don't know if I'm being clear about that, but if we design our application based on the default browser font size, which is 16 pixels, and we always want everything to look the same proportionately, then when a user makes their font size larger or smaller, we may want our app to respond accordingly, where our app gets larger or smaller. So by using rems, you're using a relative size relative to the browser's font size. So if the browser's font size gets bigger, our app gets bigger, or like the shapes and sizes, the spacings, the units of our app gets larger. If we set things with pixel values, our sizes will remain the same, which may be what you want, may not be what you want. It really kind of depends, but I generally think that if a user is trying to make things bigger, it's because it helps them see better. So for them to be able to see better, it's probably good if my application stuff gets bigger as well, or smaller if they want more screen size. The same applies, I believe, to scrolling or zooming. No, maybe I'm not right there. There is something to do with the zoom, though. I don't remember. Anyway, that's the answer there. Like, which is better? Well, actually, there was one other point that I had to make. Is if I reload, right now my font size is still large, so everything is large. Like my avatar here is pretty huge, and my inputs are pretty large. One thing that did not change in size is this border size. So you can see that my border is 1 pixel. So regardless what my font size is, that little 1 pixel border is still 1 pixel. Probably it's a good idea to always use rems. I think if you're going to look for one sort of default value, there are cases where M units are better. So not rem, but EM. There are cases where percentages are better. There's cases where, there's a ton of units in CSS, but between pixel and rem, I generally almost always use rem, with the exception of like if I just need 1 pixel border. And that's because doing a 1 pixel border in rem is like, I don't even know. Oh, just solid. That works too. Just solid. Border solid. I didn't know you could do that. That's pretty cool. I don't mind that. That's easy. Okay. So let's get this back to medium. Let's close that and go back to our app. Reload. Everything is back to its normal size and feels pretty good. So hope that answers your question. Any last minute questions before I take off? Because I'm not in a hurry or anything. I'm happy to hang out. But otherwise, I'm done with this for today. We're going to get some larger little assets in there. But I'm excited. This is looking so much better than it did at the beginning of the day. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm going to push us to a raid and see if I can find someone. Well, we'll see. Yeah, you have a good night too. Thanks for hanging out. I'm really glad that you guys keep showing up and that this is engaging. I hope that it's actually good, interesting stuff, because otherwise, I don't know. But yeah, let's see. Raid. Who do we want to raid? Oh, Melody Dev is still going strong. I'm gonna jump back on her. So I was watching her stream earlier, and she's fun, learning some stuff, and yeah, it was cool chatting and helping her out. Did I do that right? Oh, did I not do that right? Let's see. Start raid. How do I do this? I can't. Oh, there you go. Okay, got it. I'm still learning how to do this. Okay, let's go over and say what's up to Melody.